Hey there, Aquarius, and welcome to your November 2019 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and welcome to my channel. While I was tuning into your energy for the month of November, I was filled with a very deep and profound sense of calm. And as I was sort of just tuning in, I was shown someone kind of standing at the top of a mountain. And so obviously this feels very metaphorical, but they seemed to be very rooted and sort of strong in their position at the top of the mountain. And it just gave me this feeling of security, basically, like this feeling of either having accomplished a lot or having overcome a certain battle in your life, Aquarius. It also just makes me feel like you are comfortable where you stand. And this reflects a deep kind of sense of accomplishment in regards to your internal growth when it especially comes to your self-worth. I feel like there's some element to your self-worth that is getting stronger, or that you're realizing has gotten stronger over the last couple of years. And there's just this moment here towards the end of 2019 where you're kind of feeling, I don't want to say just wiser, but there's this sense of like sovereignty and independence and comfort that you're taking within your own skin. So I don't know how else to describe that, but I feel like this is a very successful energy for Aquarians, and I feel like this is going to continue to be a source of strength for you moving forward. This kind of strength that you're finding in yourself right now is going to be more and more of the feeling that you have throughout the rest of your life. It's just you are having this moment of recognizing it in a more profound and sort of intense way, like you're recognizing and feeling the strength of yourself and of the lessons that you've learned and the trials that you've overcome in your lifetime and the mistakes that you've made, honestly, because you've learned from everything. So nothing has gone to waste in your life, and I feel that you are getting that sense in November. And here, sort of as we cross over into 2020, as maybe you're reflecting on the last 10 years since 2010, there's just a feeling almost like of a coming of age, but it can be at any age, Aquarius. It's any age of your life. You can experience a coming of age, but it's in a very beautiful way. Like it feels like you're just realizing how much you can rely on yourself. And that feels fucking amazing. I'm sorry for cussing, but it feels amazing to know that you can rely on yourself, and that you can feel the comfort in that, because you may be able to know that intellectually, Aquarius. Like you may already have known that intellectually, but to feel it in your core is something really delicious and amazing. So I hope that this gives you some kind of marker or some kind of emotional set point to look for as we go into November and as we cross over into 2020. Let's go ahead and take a look at your November tarot cards. Aquarius, 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 Aquarius. Clear loving guidance for Aquarius. Okay, I just heard the phrase, a different drummer. So I don't know where that's coming from, but it could be like a play on kind of like the phrase marching to the beat of a different drum. But that was coming through, so that could be a relevant message for someone out there. Okay, let's take a look at your animal spirit oracle cards. Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. Okay. Now let's take a look at your path card. We have the wolf. And the influence card is the elephant. Beautiful. These are both creatures that have a really strong pack. And the packs that these creatures form are extraordinarily protective of each other. They're very closely bonded. So it's interesting to see these cards coming up after the meditation message that had so much to do with self-reliance and being able to rely on yourself. It may be, Aquarius, that you are finding yourself in November in some sort of a position of strength when it comes to a community that you are a part of, or when it comes to a group of people that you manage, organize, or otherwise engage with. I feel that it's possible that some of you could experience a change in your kind of social capital, I guess. I mean, that's a kind of a strange like phrase, but there's a sense with these cards that you may be the person that other individuals are relying on in your immediate surroundings when it comes to your professional life or your career in some way, or even your creativity and your self-expression. You may just find that people are looking to either work with you, or they're looking to ask you questions, they're looking for your advice, because you are seen as someone who has an ability to kind of set goals and accomplish them. And we see that definitely with the elephant card as the influence. The elephant is a very successful card. When it comes up in these readings, to me, it always points to you being on track to improve something, some element of your life that has to do with abundance, prosperity, and protection, because those are what the areas of life are that the elephant presides over symbolically. Cultures that celebrate elephants, like that have them in their natural terrain and have religious kind of connections with elephants, often correlate them with the symbol of prosperity, or with a symbol of fertility and the ability to kind of multiply and to prosper and to be engaging positively with the environment, and also to attract good energy. So a lot of places will have elephant statues or figures at the onset of a building or of a property in order to, first of all, protect the energy of the home or property, and second of all, to draw in actually prosperity and wealth and good energies into the property. So there's just something very fortuitous about your path this month, Aquarius. I feel like your path is freaking blessed right now. You're feeling that you are gaining in terms of your ability to communicate about what you do. With the wolf card here, this is a card of the ability to forge meaningful and useful alliances, as well, to be connected with people with whom you have mutual interest or synergistic interest. So possibly finding people that you can work with in a professional sense, or that you could partner with in a business sense. But there's this overall impression that I get of you becoming quite a powerful voice in your industry in some way, shape, or form. So I really love these cards. Let's go ahead and take a look at your tarot cards. We've got Three of Cups, yes, talk about community. Five of Wands, the Star. Four of Cups, King of Wands, Two of Pentacles, Two of Swords, and the Princess of Swords. Okay, so we're seeing some pretty clear messages right off the bat. First of all, the theme card for the month, I take that to be the first card that comes up for us in November as sort of the energy that we go into the month on, but it also can be a theme card for the entire month. And when I look at the Three of Cups for you, I feel like the part of the theme for November for you is actually in meaningful connections and in kind of like your social standing, interestingly, which is fascinating because we do have Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, which, isn't typically the most social energy, but for you, it's in an area of your chart where I could see this actually being really helpful. It's in your 10th house, so it's kind of like it has a lot to do with your career and your path in the world, your destiny in the world, and who you are in the world and how you sort of express yourself. I feel like this is actually a really powerful time for you. So as we go deeper into the month, we have the Five of Wands, though. And so what I get is that it's possible that there could be some clashing going on in a social environment. I'm not sure that this directly involves you. I mean, it could, because your card is here with the Star. However, what I'm kind of seeing actually is that it feels to me like maybe as you go into November, there's a sense of wanting to rethink community a little bit in your life. There's a sense of wanting to engage more with people that are sort of on your level, so to speak, or who care about similar things, who have similar values to what you have, Aquarius. Because we have the Three of Cups and the Five of Wands, which the Five of Wands is a card that often portrays like young people or children fighting. So if there is any kind of contentiousness in a group that you're a part of, I feel like you're probably going to see it as quite childish. You're probably going to be looking at what's going on and being like, you know what, are we really here? Like, is this really what we're arguing about? Is this, I feel like I missed something because this feels very juvenile to me. That could be the sentiment that some of you are having as you go into the month with this Five of Wands, which is sort of complicating a situation that is supposed to be kind of emotionally satisfying and kind of happy and blissful, you know, to spend time with people who you are on the same wavelength with, or people who you care about, people you've been friends with for a long time, people you've worked with for a long time, whatever the situation is. But I feel like the dissent or the contentiousness in this particular instance is going to work for your favor, Aquarius, even if you don't like it necessarily at the time, because we have the Star and the Four of Cups. So what I get is that you are kind of getting more in touch with how you really feel about a particular, like I said, relationship or social group or social situation in your life. You're kind of getting more clarity on what that's all about, and you're getting at the same time clarity on, you know, your involvement. Like, do you want to continue to be involved in it, essentially? And I feel like you're really not sure by the second week of November. It feels to me like you know that there's something about this situation that isn't quite flowing for you, and you may feel that there's some stagnation, or you may just have a general feeling of apathy about whatever this is, about this situation. So this could be why some of the messages were coming through about like self-reliance and independence and that deep trust within yourself this month, Aquarius, because I feel like what's going on is actually that you are kind of raising your vibration, or you're raising your expectations, you're raising the bar for yourself in life. And so as you do that, as you grow, as you reach further for yourself, it becomes something where some of the people or some of the attitudes or some of the habits that you have had are no longer going to be a match to like where you're going. And so as a result, you could feel kind of apathetic with the Four of Cups. You could, once you get in touch with this, which is your energy, your highest self, the Star card, Aquarius, once, as you get more in touch with your spirituality or your beliefs or your values, you're going to become more and more apathetic about a particular situation in your life. But that's actually a good thing, because that apathy is going to cause you to look for more. And I feel like that's really what this situation is all about for you, is like the thing that you've been doing, or the people that you've been with, or the project you've been working on, or the company you've been working with may have been a good thing for you, and maybe it still is in some ways, but I feel like there's just this growing internal sense of, I'm growing and I need to do something different. I need to open the door for change. And I don't know that you're going to necessarily figure out exactly what that change is going to mean for you during the month of November, because you have the Two of Pentacles and the King of Wands, followed by the Two of Swords and the Princess of Swords. So we have the twos here, which you can see on this two, the Two of Pentacles. She's juggling the pentacles, so she's clearly not made her decision. She hasn't, she's still kind of bouncing things around, you know, metaphorically speaking. And then the King of Wands over here talks about, could be a fire sign person that you're in business with. It could be an aspect of yourself, your leadership qualities, or some, you know, part of you that has to do with your leadership qualities and how you show up to guide situations or projects in the direction that they need to go in order to be successful. So maybe if you're like a project manager or anything like that, an entrepreneur, something along those lines, we see this could be referring to like you kind of needing to make some managerial decisions but not really having all of the information just yet. If the King of Wands is someone outside of you that you are in business with or that you're engaged with in any way, Aquarius, then you know who you are. And you're probably seeing what I'm seeing when I look at these cards, which is I feel like this person is pretty intense. They're intensely looking at like what you're going to do. And they may be a little bit more strategic than you think, Aquarius. And I don't say that to scare you, but one message that I do see here that could potentially be helpful, it's a very specific message, but if it's coming through, it must be coming through for someone out there. So what I get is that this fire sign person, could be Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, is looking over at what you're doing, and they have a vested interest in like you for whatever reason, and they may be really trying to predict or decipher or determine or get information about what your next move is going to be. This person could be a business partner, like I said before, or they could be someone that wants to work with you, or even maybe a competitor in your industry. So just be mindful of this, because I do feel, as I'm looking at this, that this is an energy, if this is like someone outside of you and it's not referring to a part of you that's sort of focused on decision making right now, if it's somebody outside of you, I think this person is really strategic, and if they are approaching you wanting to make a deal with you or wanting to work with you, you can definitely bet that they have their reasons for doing that, and that they are definitely looking out for their best interest. But that doesn't mean necessarily that they are negative or that it would be a bad decision to work with them. It's just something that I'm getting where I feel like because you're kind of distracted with what you have on your plate right now, be mindful that this fire sign person who's sort of very closely paying attention to what you do, they are really strategic, and they will make decisions for themselves based on whatever you do in terms of your behavior in your business or your profession, or how you conduct yourself at work maybe. It could also be, like I'm feeling like this could be like a competitor in your industry or something like that too. So just be mindful of that, and definitely make sure that you don't like drop the ball on anything. And also be wary. I'm not trying to make a negative forecast at all, because I don't see this as being negative. I just see this as really useful for you to know. I feel like it's really useful for you to know that there is this fire sign person who's paying very, very close attention to what you're doing. And they want to use their knowledge of your situation to improve their situation. So again, this is going to be relevant for you. Like if you already are listening to this and you know what I'm talking about, then you know who you are. But I feel like this is just something that you should be aware of, so that you don't kind of underestimate anyone, and that you really play your cards right, because I think you have something special that you're doing. Obviously with these cards, like you are on the road to success with the Elephant card, but I feel like right now it's important for you to kind of be aware that other people around you are also being strategic, and they may not have your Aquarian high-minded values of, talking things out or communicating or being fair. Like air signs, they care about fairness. That is like one thing that I notice about people who have a lot of air in their charts in my life, is like a unifying quality, is that they all care about being fair. And there's this natural sort of almost unconscious tendency to really monitor your own behavior in your different life situations based on what your notion of fairness is relative to that situation. So you will feel bad if you engage with someone in a way that afterwards, if you reflect on it, you feel like you weren't being fair to them. That's not how everybody approaches the world. Like, this person could be pretty subjective, actually, because they're a fire sign, and fire signs tend to be, you know, they can see things from their perspective, and that's sort of how they view the world. And of course, nobody is all fire or all air. We all have, you know, a full chart that we're working with, but I just think it's important sometimes to remind airy types like you, who are so objective and who have kind of this inbuilt compass that is always kind of giving you feedback about, okay, are you being fair to that person? Are you being fair to this person? You know, what's the fairest thing to do in this situation? Not everybody approaches life that way. So it's just good to keep in mind, and be conscious when you do engage with somebody who could gain something from knowing about what you're doing, or knowing about your choices, or knowing about your situation. Just be aware. The Two of Swords and the Princess of Swords are coming up at the end of the month, and I feel like this represents, you know, as the sun moves into Sagittarius, it does represent a change in your energy, specifically because you're going from receiving a square from the sun in the sign of Scorpio. As the sun is in Scorpio, it's squaring everything that you have in Aquarius. You know, throughout the whole time the sun moves through Scorpio, it's going to be casting a square, which is a 90-degree angle. It's a hard angle to any of your points that you have in Aquarius, and this can present some challenges. It can present some sensation of sort of being blocked, or sensation of kind of taking one step forward, two steps back a little bit. But as the sun actually moves into Sag, it is going to sextile you and all of your points that you have in Aquarius. So it's a much more harmonious aspect. It's a lot more of a gentle energy for you. And I feel like as the sun moves into Sag on the 22nd, likely you can expect around that time for there to be this feeling of being unfettered a little bit. That's the feeling I get with this Princess of Swords. She seems to me to be kind of footloose here. Like, she's not tied down to anything. In fact, she is tying up her sword, indicating that she is the one who gets to decide who and what she kind of commits herself to. That's what that tells me. The Two of Swords shows you kind of being at a point of needing to make a decision, perhaps a decision that you've put off for a while. At the end of the month, I'm not sure that you're gonna still feel that you have all the information that you need, and you may or may not actually make this choice by the end of the month. It could be something that you decide to do as we go deeper into December, and we'll see in your cards for next month. But I feel like it's really important at the end of November to spend some time meditating and to reconnect with yourself, and sort of recultivate that spiritual connection that you have. Because when you feel stuck in regards to a particular direction that you want to take your life in practical terms, that is typically the best kind of behavior that you can engage in, is really meditation, journaling, coming back to yourself. To the degree to which you feel uncertain about what to do, that's the same paradoxical degree to which you need to go deeper into yourself, and to leave space for that relationship, and to validate that relationship no matter what other people are maybe expecting of you. And the good news is I feel like you're bold enough this month to make decisions that don't rely on validation from others, because remember that sensation that was coming through from the meditation about feeling so grounded and strong within yourself. That is gold when it comes to being able to be authentic in your creative work, to do unique things with your work, or with your business, or with your creativity. I feel like this is a time in which you can actually have a lot more courage, just by the fact that you won't be feeling like you need to base any sense of security on approval from other people. Like, I feel like this month there's a sense of apathy or dissatisfaction with that anyway, you know? It's like when you have the Three of Cups and then the Five of Wands, the Star, and then the Four of Cups. It's almost like the cards are saying that doing what other people expect you to do in any way, shape, or form may have worked in the past, but it's becoming almost like boring. When I look at that Four of Cups, I feel like it's like becoming boring, and you're like the saucy star over here where you're like, I want to make some shit happen. Like, I want to do something unique. I want to get naked here. I want to be crazy. And so I feel like, you know, the message is kind of like, yeah, Aquarius, you know, depending on the situation, I think that doing something Uranian, doing something different, doing something profound, something out of step. There's that message. There's that message coming through about the drummer, the different drummer. It's like you have the courage this month to march to the beat of a different drummer. And we have mystery. Yeah, so I almost, when I held this up, I heard man of mystery. So that's really weird because I've never actually heard that when I look at this card. Like, I always have seen it in a different way, but I heard like man of mystery or like mystery man. So maybe some of you are engaging with like a mysterious man. Just be careful with that. Obviously, always trust your gut and your intuition. But I feel like it's more like you, Aquarius. You are being invited to be mysterious this month. You are being invited to be maybe a bit of a trickster and a bit of like be a riddle, you know, when it comes to your creative work. Do things in a little bit of a different way. Don't tell everybody everything that you're going to do. Just surprise them. Let people be surprised. Let people be wondering what your next move is going to be. Let people be looking at you and trying to figure you out. You know, I feel like that's often what people are trying to do with an Aquarius anyway, because we all like really want to know what you guys are thinking, and we all kind of are curious about what your motivations are because you do things that are very unique. But ultimately, I feel like this is saying be the mystery. It's not just about engaging with the mystery. I think that can be a big theme, of course, with Mercury retrograde in Scorpio for all of us. But for you, it's like be the mystery. Be in that place of spontaneity. Be in that place of just raw kind of spontaneous reactions, and be in that place of having people wonder what you're going to do. I think that there's an element of excitement to that that is probably your best marketing tool. For example, if you have a business where maybe let's say you have an online business where every Saturday at noon you do a live call, you know, that's like every week you do a live call on YouTube, or you do a stream, or you have an email that you go out every Tuesday, it just goes out. That's the kind of thing that I feel like this month you might shake it up. You might reverse it, or you might pop on for a random chat, or you might start doing your emails on Fridays, or, you know, whatever. There's just something with this card that's like shake things up, be a mystery, don't be predictable this month, Aquarius. Be you. And I feel like you are a very dynamic creator. I mean, the archetype of Aquarius is all about dynamic creation. And interestingly as well, there's a strong core element within the sign of Aquarius of self-sacrifice and contribution. But with these cards, I feel like you can do that. You will sacrifice some of your time and money and effort towards advancing the purpose and the higher meaning of what you're trying to do. And there are always sacrifices when we are, for example, an entrepreneur or an artist, or we're putting ourselves out there, or we're taking any sort of risk. There's always going to be sacrifices that we make in any area of life. And I feel like ultimately this is meaningful enough for you to surrender. You know, this is meaningful enough and beautiful enough for you to surrender to the desires that you have. And any sacrifices that you do make, for example, with your time, your schedule, anything like that, I feel like it's going to pay off in dividends so much later on, not only in financial terms, but also in terms of your purpose and your joy of life as well. Okay, Aquarius, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Seriously, those things really do help my channel. So if you got something useful out of this reading, please go ahead and leave me a little sparkly star emoji below and let me know that you're here for your star card. Let me know that you made it all the way through. I would love to see your little stars everywhere. And if you want to say thank you, there's a couple of ways that you can do that. For one thing, just giving this video a simple thumbs up on YouTube, subscribing to my channel and subscribing for notifications and leaving a comment. All of those things are so freaking helpful for me. It really does help my channel to grow, and it helps me to know that you guys are engaged and that you're as enthusiastic as I am about these readings, and that just gives me so much motivation to just keep on putting all of the time and energy that goes into making this channel. You can also donate any amount, and I'll put the information on where you can go to do that below. You can do it through PayPal, you can use a credit card, you can donate $1, any amount that you want to do is so appreciated, because it takes a lot of time and effort to do these videos. And next month I will actually be doing the 2020 forecast readings, which is going to add a lot of time to my schedule that I will not be working to get paid. So it does make it a little bit harder on me when I do these extra year ahead forecast videos, but I know that you guys really like them and you have expressed a lot of excitement over getting them every year. So if you feel called, if you enjoy my channel and you want to say thank you and you want to help support me as I'm doing that work next month, you can go ahead and make a donation. I'll put the link below. You can also choose to book a personal reading with me if that's more your jam. Okay, Aquarius, thank you so much for being here. I'm sending you so much love. Mwah, big hugs, and I will talk to you next month. Bye.